Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे राधा वृंदावन चंद्र वृंदावन चंद्र राधे जय निताई गौरंग जय निताई गौरंग जय निताई गौरंग जय निताई गौरंग निताई गौरंग
निताई गौरंग जय निताई गौरंग
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 1 चैप्टर 2 टेक्स्ट नंबर 14। तस्मात् एकेन मनसा तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यः च श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूज्यः च नित्यदा ध्येयः पूज्यश्च नित्यदा। तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूज्यश्च नित्यदा। तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूज्यश्च नित्यदा। तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूजश्च नित्यदा। मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः ध्येयपूजश्च नित्यदा। तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूजश्च नित्यदा। तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूजश्च नित्यदा। तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूजश्च नित्यदा। Anybody else wants to chant? तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूजश्च नित्यदा. Any other Matajis would like to chant? Okay. We'll go to तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूजश्च नित्यदा. Word to word translation. Tasmat, therefore, ekena, by one, manasa, attention of the mind, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Satvatam, of the devotees, Patihi, protector, Shrotavyaha, is to be heard, Kirtitavyaha, to be glorified, Cha, and Dhyeyaha, to be remembered, Pujyaha, to be worshipped, Cha, and Nityada, constantly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. Translation with repetition. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. Purport. If realization of the absolute truth is the ultimate aim of life, it must be carried out by all means. In any one of the above mentioned castes and orders of life, the four processes, namely glorifying, hearing, remembering, and worshipping, are general occupations. Without these principles of life, no one can exist. activities of the living being involve engagements in these four different principles of life. Especially in modern society, all activities are more or less dependent on hearing and glorifying. Any man from any social status becomes a well known man in human society within a very short time if he is simply glorified truly or falsely in the daily newspapers. Sometimes political leaders of a particular party are also advertised by newspaper propaganda, and by such a method of glorification, an insignificant man becomes an important man within no time. But such propaganda by false glorification of an unqualified person cannot bring about any good either for the particular man or for the society. There may be some temporary reactions to such propaganda, but there are no permanent effects. Therefore, such activities are a waste of time. The actual object of glorification is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has created everything manifested before us. We have broadly discussed this fact from the beginning of the Janmadi Asya shloka of this Bhagavatam. The tendency to glorify others or hear others must be turned to the real object of glorification, the Supreme Being, and that will bring happiness. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhai girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Gurum Denitaranam yat kripatam aham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing the 14th shloka of second chapter titled Divinity and Divine Service of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam titled as Creation. So as we know that in the first canto, first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it tells us about the context in which this Srimad Bhagavatam is being discussed. That is at Naimisharanya, where all the sages from all over the universe have assembled, and they are discussing what is the way forward, the spiritual way forward for all the people of this Kali Yuga. What is it that people can refer to, or what is the essence of the scriptures that people can refer to, especially now when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, has left this earthly planet and he has gone back to the spiritual world. So where is the dharma taking shelter of? What is the essence of all the scriptures? Which scriptures to refer to? And what is the process by following which the people in general can achieve happiness, satisfaction, to the fulfillment of their heart? So with this intention, they are sitting at Naimisharanya, and they have chosen Sri Suta Goswami as the chairman of the assembly, that particular assembly. And Suta Goswami had been part of the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam, which happened in in the near the Ganges, near Hastinapura, when Shukdev Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, and he is recollecting those narrations of Shrimad Bhagavatam, and he is going to answer different questions that these different sages have raised in front of him. So that is the context in which the Shrimad Bhagavatam is going to be spoken about. So the sages have put forward different questions, and the second question which the sages put forward, there were 6 questions in total which were asked by the sages to Suta Goswami, and as an answer to these 6 questions is the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, this first canto is kind of an index of the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because what is going to come forward in the rest of the 9 cantos, rest of the 11 cantos after this first canto, there are 11 more cantos. So what is going to come in those 11 cantos is being highlighted here. What all are the main points that will come? So these sages have asked questions, and the second question, which was asked in the 11th shloka of the last chapter, that is the first chapter, in that question, the sages are asking Suta Goswami that there are many varieties of scriptures, and they talk about many prescribed duties. So, based on your knowledge, the best of your knowledge, please tell us what is the essence of all these scriptures, and explain it for the good of all the living beings, so that by these instructions their hearts will be fully satisfied. So the question is very specific. It is not a vague question ki kuch bataiye hame. So this is a very specific question that please tell us to the best of your knowledge. You please don't think that what is our level of knowledge or our level of understanding, but whatever is the best knowledge that you have, you please kindly give it to us. And what should be that knowledge? That knowledge should be such that it will fully satisfy our hearts. Correct? The instructions, so that they will be fully satisfied. And that knowledge should be the essence of all the scriptures. Many a times what happens when we go to people, when we go to spiritualists or a spiritual people, we ask them something which is our desire, something material we want, and we ask the question based on that and try to seek the answer which we want. So that is not the kind of question which these sages are asking. The sages are asking to give an answer based on the best of the knowledge of Suta Goswami, which is also the essence of all the scriptures, and which will fully satisfy the hearts of people in general. Not just good satisfaction so that I will be satisfied right now or at current stage or anything. No, for full satisfaction. So that is the question. So it is an ultimate question to be asked. Give the knowledge which is the best of the knowledge that you have, which is the essence of all the scriptures, and which will satisfy the hearts of people to the fullest extent. And in answer to this question, Sri Suta Goswami is speaking this particular chapter, and there are some other questions also answered in this chapter. This shloka which we are studying today, the 14th shloka, is part of the section of the shlokas, that is from 6th shloka onwards of the second chapter. Suta Goswami starts answering this particular question. And he goes on for another 22 shlokas. So up to 28th shloka is the answer to this question particularly. So today we are in the 14th shloka, which is almost, we have covered some 8 shlokas earlier, which are continuation of the answer. So today's shloka is also continuation of the answer, that what exactly is the best of the knowledge that Suta Goswami has after he has heard Srimad Bhagavatam. He is a realized soul. What is the essence of all the scriptures, And what is it that will satisfy all of us to the fullest of the extent? So this shloka is also talking about the same answer which Sutta Goswami has started speaking from the 6th shloka onwards. And here he says, Tasmad ekena manasa Bhagavan satvatam patihi Shrotavyah kirtitavyascha Dheyah pujascha nityada. So Tasmad, which means Sutta Goswami is referring to the previous instruction that he has given, previous shloka which he has spoken. And that shloka is Atah pumbhir dvija shrestha Varanashrama vibhagashaha Swa anushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Meaning is, O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Sutta Goswami is telling that whatever varna and ashrama we are in, each one of us is in certain varna and ashrama, correct? Either some of us are still bachelors, unmarried, kind of brahmacharis. Some are actually brahmacharis practicing brahmacharya in ashram. Some of us are grihasthas. Sannyasis, right now nobody. Vanaprasthas also nobody. So there are 4 ashramas: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyas. And then there are 4 varnas, correct? That is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So these are the 4 varnas. And as stated very emphatically, clearly by Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, these 4 varnas are not based on birth. It is not that because I am born in a Kshatriya family, I become a Kshatriya. Because I am born in a Brahmana family, I become a Brahmana. It is based on one's gunas, the qualities that one has and develops, and the activities that one performs. It is guna karma vibhagashaha. Chatur varnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. It is not based on birth, but it is based on the qualities that one inherits, that one is born with, and the qualities that one develops, and also based on the activities that one performs. So based on this, one's varna is fixed, whether he is a Brahmana, he is a Kshatriya, Vaishya or a Shudra. And then there are these ashramas. So based on the scriptures, there are certain prescribed duties for people in certain varna and certain ashrama. There are duties specifically mentioned in the scriptures. What should a Brahmana be doing? What a Kshatriya be doing? A Brahmana who is a brahmachari, what he should be doing? Brahmana grihastha, Brahmana sannyasi. Sannyasi obviously rises above the post, but still. So every ashrama, every varna, there are prescribed duties. What exactly a person should be doing. And by performing these prescribed duties, what is the highest perfection that a person can achieve? We can achieve so many perfections while performing our duties. But what is the highest perfection? Just like any object we take, we can use it for any purpose. Okay. जैसे phone, हमारा phone है. Phone it's a very nice object. We can take suppose I want to drill a nail into this wall or this pillar. I can take the nail, I can take my phone and bang and try to drill the nail into it. Correct? The phone may do the work partially. In the process, it may get damaged and whatever, but it has achieved certain result. But is that the highest result that the phone can give us or that object can give us? No. The best or the highest perfection of the phone is to be used for communication and for other purposes that we can mailing, communicating, calling and all those things, isn't it? So that is the best use of the phone, the highest perfection that can be achieved by using that device. So similarly, while performing our duties, we may achieve various perfections. We may become a good brahmachari, very staunch brahmachari. We may become a very dutiful grihastha, taking care of the family nicely, raising children, providing their sustenance, acha kapada, acha ghar, everything we are providing very nicely. We may become a very disassociated vanaprastha. We may become a very stalwart sannyasi. But all these are not the highest perfections. The highest perfection is whether we have pleased the Supreme Lord while performing all those duties. Correct? So this was the reference in the previous shloka. And Suta Goswami is referring to this shloka that if at all you want to reach the highest perfection while performing your prescribed duties, what you should be doing. Tasmat. To achieve that, you have to do this. And what is that I should be doing to achieve that highest perfection? If I am a grihastha, if I have to achieve the highest perfection, what should I be doing? A brahmachari, if I have to achieve the highest perfection, what should I be doing? So, Suta Goswami is telling in this shloka, Tasmad, therefore, if you have to achieve that perfection, ekena manasa, with single pointed attention, with a fixed focused way. And focused when? Not that only when I am performing certain duty or certain activity, किसी एक समय पे, सुबह के समय पे, only during Brahma Muhurta, only when I am performing my puja, or only when I am going to the temple. Only that time the focus is not asked. The focus, there should be single pointed focus, and that focus should be constantly. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly, what should be done constantly? Nityada, tasmad ekena manasa, nityada, and then there are four things which Suta Goswami is telling, four principles. And those four principles are Shrotavyaha, Kirtitavyaha, Dhyeyaha, and Pujyaha. Right? Shrotavyaha means hearing about, glorifying, remembering, and worshipping. So we have to do these four things, and by these four things we can achieve the highest perfection of our, by performing our prescribed duties. But whom to hear about, whom to talk about, whom to remember, and whom to worship? Kisko karna hai? Whom to, towards whom these all activities should be directed to? So then Suta Goswami says, Shrotavyaha, Kirtitavyascha, Dhyeyaha, Pujascha, Nityada, Bhagavan, it is about Bhagavan. It is, we have to hear about, worship, glorify, remember the Lord, Bhagavan. But which Lord? Somebody may say, Bhagavan, kaun se Bhagavan? So then Suta Goswami is not leaving any doubts. Clear kar rahe hain. Which Bhagavan we have to worship? Which Bhagavan we have to hear, glorify, and remember? So he says, Satvatam Patihi, that Lord who is the protector of the devotees. Srila Prabhupada here he is translating Satvatam Patihi as protector of devotees. Another place, Srila Prabhupada translates Satvatam Patihi or Satvatam Patihi as the one who belongs to the Satvata dynasty. Satvata is also one of the dynasties. Satvata means devotees or liberated souls. So the Lord who gives protection to the liberated souls alone. If you see, the Devi and the Devatas, they give protection to whoever comes to them and does certain tapasya, they have to give protection to that particular person. Whether that person is a asura, a demon, a person who is coming with lot of materialistic desires, they will not discriminate all that. They will fulfill, they will give the blessings, they will give protection to that, to the person who is approaching them if he performs certain austerities. Like there is a famous example of Bhasmasura. Correct? This Bhasmasura, he wanted to have such a power that anybody he touches will be dead, he will be finished. Correct? So he went to Lord Shiva, he did tapasya, and Lord Shiva was pleased and he blessed him. Okay, you will have this power. And then Bhasmasura wanted to test whether this power is really given to me or not. And he went behind Shiva only, isn't it? To check whether I can finish Shiva by this power. So this is how the demigods are. They are helpless in one sense. If somebody performs certain tapasya, they have to give that benefit, that benediction to that particular jiva. Whether he is a demoniac jiva, karmi jiva, materialistic benefit चाहिए, या फिर खुद के harm के लिए भी अगर उसको चाहिए, even if he wants it for his own harm, still the demigods will have to give it. Because they are bound by their duties. Somebody is performing tapasya, you have to give that. But if you see the Lord will not do this. The Lord checks whether this benediction which is being asked for, whether this jiva really, it will help him to progress further, it will help that jiva to come towards me, only then the Lord will bless. Or the Lord will bless in such a way that the consciousness of that jiva will be purified, and even if the jiva gets that blessing, still he will be able to utilize that blessing to go closer to the Lord. Just like Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj, he came to the Lord with materialistic desire, that he wanted the kingdom which is unparalleled, much, much bigger than his father's kingdom. And when he came in front of the Lord, when Lord touched his shankha to the head of Dhruv Maharaj forgot all that materialistic desire. He wanted only the Lord in his life. But Lord fulfilled his material desire, and he gave him the consciousness also, so that he will not get carried away by that material desire, and he will be able to come back to Krishna. So, the Sattvatam Patihi is the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone. He protects the devotees in all circumstances. Whereas the Devatas, they will give the benediction, but whether they will not check, they cannot check. That is not within their roles and responsibilities to check whether this particular benediction which is asked, whether it will help the devotee, that particular person who has come to me, whether it will be problematic to him, problem for others, that they cannot. That is not within their roles and responsibilities. So they have to grant that benediction. And then that causes so many problems to so many people. Many a times it causes problems. So Sattvatam Patihi, the protector of the devotees, is only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sattvatam Patihi is also Lord Shri Krishna, who comes in the Sattvata dynasty. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the Sattvata dynasty. How various people came in that dynasty, and then the Yadavas also come in that dynasty. How Ugrasena and then Vasudev and all come in that dynasty. Bhoja, Andhaka, Satvata, these are all dynasties which are related to the Yadu Vamsha, Krishna. So Krishna is also called as Satvata. He is Satvata Agraja or Satvata, there is one word which Prabhupada uses, that he is the best among the Sattvatas. So the Shrotavya, the hearing, remembering, glorifying and worshipping is only directed towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And that is why Prabhupada says in the translation, one should constantly, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of devotees. So, in the purport, when we come to the purport, Srila Prabhupada starts with that the Ekena Manasa and Nityada. We should be single-pointedly and constantly, not only in the morning time, not only during the puja time, but during entire day, day after day, we should be focused, we should have a single-pointed attention towards hearing, glorifying, remembering and worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these four activities are supposed to be done in midst of all other things that we do during the daytime or night time, whenever we are sleeping also. So it is not that it is to be done only at one particular time, circumstances, situation, place. No, it is always Nityada. And Prabhupada is then telling in the purport, in any one of the above mentioned castes and orders of life, he is referring to the previous shloka where 4 varnas and 4 ashramas are referred to, that in any one of the above mentioned castes and orders of life, the 4 processes, namely glorifying, hearing, remembering and worshipping, are general occupations. Without these principles of life, no one can exist. That means, in general, people also who are not devotees, who are not wanting to wanting to achieve the highest perfection, still they follow these 4 principles. They hear about somebody or something, they keep hearing about, they keep glorifying somebody or something, most of the times themselves only. Generally हम लोग खुद को ही glorify करते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा. मैंने कैसे ये किया, how I did this, how I achieved that, how I am good at this, how I am good at that. We try to glorify. Even when we are glorifying our children's achievements or our family's achievements also, there is a sense that it is me who has achieved it. Oh, see, my child, he has achieved this. My wife is this. My relatives are here. I am relative of this particular person. It is actually glorifying, trying to glorify ourselves. So most of the time people are engaged in glorifying oneself or sometimes some other people also. They are remembering always some people and then they are worshipping those people also. While I was thinking about this shloka, I remembered at a certain time of my age, somewhere around maybe 7th, 8th or 9th standard somewhere, those days there used to be a card game which all of us, all children we used to play. We used to collect some cards. If you all know WWE, those days it used to be WWE and there used to be cards of WWE. Different wrestlers, their cards used to be there. So there used to be some Hitman Hart or somebody, Bret Hitman Hart. There used to be Yokozuna and so many such people were there. And Yokozuna was my favorite. He was very stout. I was also a stout person, so I used to like him very much. And he was quite a good wrestler. And I used to literally always think about Yokozuna. I used to carry his card even while going to school. I used to tell, see, I have this Yokozuna, this also I have collected, and there were points, and we used to match the points and all those things. And I used to see most of the wrestling matches of Yokozuna. Wherever Yokozuna is there, I'll see. If he gets defeated, that day will be the bad day. Correct? So like this, each one of us will have some or the other person whom we idolize, whom we worship, whom we remember continuously. Correct? Or we glorify continuously. How he fought him, how he defeated somebody, some other wrestler. So continuously the meditation will be on these things. As we grow, the idols change, but the concept remains the same. Correct? So people in general in life, they always keep on doing this, hearing about, glorifying, worshipping and remembering. Everybody will have some, either consciously or unconsciously we will be doing these 4 things. And we will be, remembering means how at times we will try to imitate, we will try to imbibe those values in us, their traits in us, how he dresses, how he walks, how he talks, we will try to apply that in our life. So many a times we do this, but then this does not yield a benefit. And based on the time, place, circumstances, our idols keep changing, our the person to be remembered, to be glorified keeps changing. Some place where we find that, okay, glorifying this person will not be advantageous, we will glorify somebody else. We are sitting in some group and in that group there is a lot of glorification going on about one particular person, say Prime Minister. There is a glorification going on about Prime Minister, but if I am not the supporter of Prime Minister as such, at my heart, if I am not, but just to be within that group, just not to hurt anybody or not to spoil my business relations, I will glorify that Prime Minister, I'll glorify that person. I'll compromise on my values. Some other place I will go and say, oh, no, this is there, like this, like that, something, so many things. So like this, people keep changing their idols, keep changing their object of glorification, object of worship, based on their own agendas, their own, based on time, place, circumstances, and all those things. But what they achieve out of all that is very insignificant. Most of the times, nothing. So next portion, Srila Prabhupada talks that especially in modern society, all activities are more or less dependent on hearing and glorifying. Correct? Hearing and glorifying ke upar hai. Any man from any social status becomes a well-known man in human society within a very short time if he is simply glorified truly or falsely in daily newspapers. So Srila Prabhupada is referring to daily newspapers because those days that was the propaganda mechanism. Propaganda media was newspapers, radio, newspapers. So if you announce, give advertisements, talk about that person, then that person will become well known. In today's time, we have PR agency, brand building agencies, brand management. So big names they have given, and they utilize different forums to build a person as a brand. In Indian political context, in 2014, this became a very big talk. It was told that BJP employed one particular or 2-3 firms, branding firms, PR agencies, to build the brand Modi. And that was a huge success. It was a landslide victory that BJP achieved. And then there were that kind of strategy was implemented and is now being implemented in different, almost all the political parties, people are employing that strategy. Till then it was being used for product branding, company branding, correct? So for all those things. But then from 2014 it started getting engaged in India, in Indian political scenario, for building people's brand, political parties' brand, positioning of different schemes of government, that also now branding companies are entering into. So if you talk about continuously, if you spread the word through different medias, suddenly people, schemes, products, they will suddenly become popular. Correct? So Prabhupada is telling the same thing. Those days it was newspapers, today it is social media, Facebook, Instagram, correct? And then so many different ways they do the brand management and brand building. So any man from any social status becomes a well-known man in human society within a very short time if he is simply glorified truly or falsely. Not necessary that it is all the truth. It is just about positioning, how we are going to present you. It may be, you may be something 0, but we are going to present you as 100. It is our responsibility. You pay us this much, we will do all the things. So there are agencies, there are companies who have multi-billion-dollar business just by positioning people, positioning products. They are only dealing with that. But then Prabhupada is bringing about the next this thing. Prabhupada is talking about this also. Sometimes political leaders of particular party are also advertised by newspaper propaganda. Today's scenario, Prabhupada is talking that time, 1960s, 70s. And by such a method of glorification, an insignificant man becomes an important man within no time. But now what happens if such propaganda is done? So Prabhupada is telling, but such propaganda of false glorification of an unqualified person cannot bring about any good, either for the particular man or for the society. There may be some temporary reaction to such propaganda. Okay, somebody may achieve some position for some days, some particular product will be very popular, some brand will be popular, company will be popular, but it is all a temporary reaction to such propaganda. There are no permanent effects. Therefore, such activities are a waste of time. Some time back I was discussing with one devotee. He was talking about he has a lot of social media interactions. He creates some content and he has many followers and all. But then some problem happened in handling the media, and suddenly all his something happened, and then the particular social media agency, it identified that this is a problematic account and they locked that account or something, and he lost all his followers. And then suddenly all the followers are gone, and now to build that followers is a big effort. He was telling how it is so sad that I lost all those followers. Now again I have to work on that. It is very tough time. So reactions आएगा, कभी कभी मिलेगा. Sometimes you get the results, but then in no time these results may go away. Suddenly one thing wrong somebody does, and all the followers are lost. All the subscribers suddenly they will unsubscribe, or your content will become irrelevant, and people will stop following you. Correct? So we may become famous, we may become big. Nowadays it is very easy. Very soon people can shoot to fame and glory by doing content, even simple nonsense. Very ordinary content also lifts people to some with lakhs of followers, millions of followers and subscribers and money and awards and all. But then within no time they go away. Just like that, when song had become very famous some time back, one Bengali song, it was a kacha badam. One person is selling groundnuts, and the way he was singing song while selling the groundnuts, he became so famous. And everywhere that song was being used by big actors, everybody. And that person he shot to the fame, but then very soon that all things were gone. Some other songs came up, so many other people came up. That person got some money, but then now again he is back to selling peanuts. It was temporary benefits. So we may get this fame, we may get the glory, we may get the wealth, but it is temporary. That reactions won't sustain for long. And it is not only for that, it is for all other things also, not only for fame on social media. Even the wealth that we earn, maybe money or reputation or the relatives, friend circle, the connections that we have, all those things are also extremely temporary. Any moment it may all go away, isn't it? So what is it that we should invest in? Which is that wealth which will stay with me forever? So when people get frustrated with all these kind of activities, by earning wealth, by earning followers, shooting to fame and all, and when one day all that is challenged, all that is disturbed, then they start thinking, oh, this is not what is for me. I should do something for people in general. I should do some social service. I should do some philanthropy. I should do something which is not for my interest. And that is when they come to Nishkama Karma. From karma, where they want so many things for themselves, when they get frustrated with the results, because those results won't stay with us, the wealth won't stay, the fame won't stay. So then they come to a point where they start thinking about Nishkama Karma. I should do something which is not only for my benefit, but it is for people in general. I should do seva, service. And then they start doing some service, some philanthropy, some charity. Something for a higher purpose. But then there also they meet with frustrations. You may do it for some time for some people, but then you cannot do it all the time for them. Correct? So there are frustrations there also. So then they rise to, so this talks about the ladder of how a person progresses. First he starts with karma, then he gets frustrated with the karmic results because they don't satisfy him. Then he comes to Nishkama Karma. Then from Nishkama Karma he goes to Jnana, then Dhyana. And finally, after Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga and all those things, he lands up in Bhakti. And that is where, when he starts serving kar rahe hain abhi bhi, he is going to serve only, but he is going to serve the Supreme Personality. And that is what brings the real satisfaction, fullness to the heart. And this bhakti is nothing but combination of these four activities: Shrotavyaha, Kirtitavyaha, Dhyeyaha and Pujyaha. Hearing, glorifying, remembering and worshipping the Supreme Lord. So these are the four activities which will actually, when they are done towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they will actually satisfy us to the fullest extent. They will lead us to the highest perfection of our life. So that is what is being told here by Srila Prabhupada, the actual object of glorification is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has created everything that is manifested before us. The tendency to glorify others or hear others must be turned to real object of glorification, the Supreme Being, and that will bring happiness. But as devotees, we have already started doing this, isn't it? We have started. We are only hearing about Krishna. We are glorifying Krishna. We are remembering or trying to remember Krishna as much as possible. And we are also worshipping Krishna in different ways. But while doing this, we may also get carried away, and in the name of doing all these things for the Lord, we may start looking for name, fame, glory, appreciation. While doing it for Lord, we are actually seeking it for ourselves. As devotees, we may end up in that thing. Oh, I should go to temple and I should talk about how I did my Ekadashi last time, how many rounds I chanted, how I am nicely practicing. I should talk to devotees, I should tell them. And then when they say, oh Prabhu, you are such a nice devotee, you are a pure devotee, Prabhu, then I will feel nice when the glorification comes. So we may also end up in the same trap while practicing devotional service, while engaging in hearing and glorification of the Lord, but we will end up there. I will go and tell Prabhuji this time, Prabhu, I have finished Bhagavad Gita, I have finished this book, that book, I have started chanting 16 rounds now. I have given up now onion, garlic, tea, coffee. The idea behind giving up is, Prabhu will glorify me in front of all the other students, in front of all the other folk boys, I will be glorified. I will be given some lead service. So that thought may come, isn't it? So that is why we will do. If Prabhuji sees me, oh, late night also this boy is chanting, Prabhuji ne dekh liya na, bas ho gaya. Chanting aaj ka successful ho gaya. Isn't it? So that, like that thoughts may come. Whereas actually all these activities should be for the glorification of the Lord. Isn't it? By doing our sadhana also, who should be glorified? It should be Lord who should be glorified. By our services, it is Lord who should be glorified. Only then we will get satisfaction from all that we are doing. Otherwise, there we will also start finding frustrations. What is this? Today I chanted in front of Prabhu, but Prabhu did not even recognize. कुछ बोला ही नहीं प्रभु ने. मैंने जब प्रभु को बोला, प्रभु मैंने 64 माला किया आज, प्रभु ने बोला हाँ ठीक है. प्रभु ने बोला ही नहीं, अरे बहुत अच्छा, 64 माला कैसे कर लिया आपने, कितना अच्छा है, बहुत बढ़िया. प्रभु did not even glorify. One devotee once sent me a clip of one of the programs that he was participating, and so he sent the clip. I saw the clip, and in that clip he was discussing about it was a seminar that he was giving, and in that seminar he talked so many things, he explained. So it was some 5 minutes clip and all, and I did not understand for what purpose he has sent me the clip. I felt he is a very nice orator and I should glorify. Oh, you are a very good orator. So I sent that reply that Prabhu, very nice, you spoke very nicely, you have very nice knowledge about this subject, and your presentation was also very nice. So then he said, oh Prabhu, I did not send you for that reason. I sent you because in front of all those people, I chanted Hare Krishna. I addressed everyone starting with Hare Krishna. That is what I wanted to tell you. So he wanted me to recognize that he has made everyone hear Hare Krishna, and he wanted an appreciation from me that, oh, very nice that you made everyone hear Hare Krishna. Appreciation is due for that, correct? It should be glorified. He has done a very good job. But then the expectation was glorification, correct? And I missed that. And then the devotee was upset. Oh Prabhu, I thought you will appreciate that particular thing. You appreciated something else, Prabhu. Correct? So, like this, while doing devotional service, we may actually land up in the same scenario what other karmi people are in. They are also thinking of their own glorification. their own, hearing about themselves, they are talking about their own, they are remembering their progress, their advancement. So if we also, while being in devotional service, somehow or other get caught up in these things only, then we will not be able to achieve that highest perfection. In fact, we will soon start feeling our devotional activities to be boring, because that recognition won't come every now and then. We are supposed to glorify the Lord, correct? So to encourage you, for some time somebody will do, but not all the time. So if we are dependent upon the glorification, if the fame and glory that is coming by practicing devotional service, that is a wrong thing that we are doing. We should give up that, and we should do our sadhana, do our service in such a way that we will be able to glorify the Lord, glorify our spiritual master. Oh, your spiritual master has trained you so nicely that you are able to do this. Lord Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita are such wonderful teachings, and you people have imbibed in your life. I also feel inspired, I also feel motivated, I will also try to do it. So that should be the idea, that should be the thought behind our sadhana, behind our services. Not our own glorification, but glorification of our spiritual master and glorification of the Supreme Lord. So these were some of the thoughts that I felt I should discuss amongst all of you. That these four principles, Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Dheya and Pujya, these are supposed to be directed towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we perform all our activities while doing these four principles, while practicing these four principles, we will be able to achieve the highest perfection of life. And these are the four principles which are elaborated in the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. How devotees hear about the Lord, how devotees glorify the Lord, how they lead their life in remembrance of the Lord, and how they worship the Lord. This is what is discussed in the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you talk about Amrish Maharaj, the same thing, how he heard, how he glorified, how he worshipped. If you see Prahlad Maharaj, same thing. Gopis, same thing. Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, all the personalities who are discussed, it is about how they have practiced these four principles. Or there is glorification about the Lord telling us why we should do these things. Lord Ramachandra, what is his personality, what are his activities, and why we should hear about those activities, why we should glorify those activities, why we should remember those activities and worship Lord Ramachandra. And when we reach up to the 10th canto, it is all about Lord Shri Krishna's activities, right from his birth up to his so-called disappearance from this world. Why we should hear them, why we should glorify them, and why we should remember them and worship Lord Shri Krishna. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. And if it is all about helping us, guiding us to imbibe these four things in our day-to-day life. Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Dheya and Pujya. Hearing, glorifying, remembering and worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the essence of all the scriptures. That is what is the best of the knowledge that Suta Goswami is giving us. And that is the practice that if we follow in our day-to-day life, it will fully satisfy us and make our hearts satiated. So these were the points, and if anybody has anything to add to this or any questions, we can please take. Yes, please.
You gave an example of Sattvatam
You please take the mic.
So you gave an example that Lord Shiva, when provided Bhasmasur with the power to burn everyone into flashes as soon as he touches, is not come under Sattvatam, right?
Yes.
So is there any example of Lord Krishna where he did some kind of provided some kind of power to someone which comes under the practice of Sattvatam?
There are many devotees who have been blessed by Lord Shri Krishna. Lord Shri Krishna or Vishnu or all of the many other incarnations of the Lord. Like Lord Narsimha gave protection to Prahlad Maharaj. The blessing, there is no blessing there, but it is a protection. Sattvatam Patihi. The protection is given. Complete protection. Whereas Hiranyakashipu also was blessed. Correct? Hiranyakashipu also performed tapasya and he gained all his powers. But the Devata who blessed Hiranyakashipu did not come to protect him when Narsimha was killing him. Isn't it? Whereas Lord Vishnu came in the form of Lord Narsimha and protected Prahlad Maharaj from so many dangers. Finally, he came out of the pillar as Narsimha and killed Hiranyakashipu. Correct? So that is the protection. If you talk about blessings, Dhruv Maharaj, he was given the blessing that you will achieve whatever you want. By Lord Vishnu himself. He gave him the kingdom, the entire kingdom. Prahlad Maharaj was blessed by the Lord that you will go back and rule the kingdom. Bali Maharaj was blessed by Vamanadev. You go back and rule the demon kingdom. Isn't it? Bali Maharaj was a demoniac king. But because he surrendered unto the Lord Vishnu gave him back his demon kingdom. You go and rule as a demon. And he agreed to stand as a doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. Vamandev himself was standing as the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. So these benedictions have been given by the Lord, but he has ensured that whomever he is giving this benediction is in a proper in a proper consciousness. Only then he gives these benedictions. Otherwise, if we go and ask the benediction, similar kind of benediction, Bhagwan, मुझे भी ऐसा एक kingdom दे दो जहाँ पे मेरा पूरा राज चले. Lord will satisfy? Not necessary. Lord will see ये क्या करेगा राज लेके, intention क्या है पीछे का, क्या idea है, what is his plan actually, and then Lord will decide whether to give that kingdom or not. As a karma, if you are desiring, then Lord will enable you कि some life or the other you will go and achieve that particular position as the king. You will be having lot of power and you will execute that power. That fulfillment of karma will come. But if you go as a devotee, Lord keeps the prerogative with him, whether to give it or not give it, or how to give it, when to give it. Everything is held back by the Lord. But that is not the case where Devi Devatas can do. If the bhakta has performed tapasya, they have to give it. They cannot say no. That is their role. If you go and pray to Lakshmi ji in a certain way, she has to bless you with wealth. If you go to Saraswati ji, Saraswati Mata, not only on the exam days, but before also if you go, then she will bless you with knowledge. Exam day पे जाएंगे तो वो भी नहीं कुछ कर सकते ज़्यादा, है ना? You are ill prepared for the exam. So like that, Devi Devatas, they have restrictions in how much they can bless. And that blessing also, Krishna says, comes from Krishna only. Krishna only sends that blessing through the Devi and Devata. In Bhagavad Gita he says, Ta neva vidadhamyaham. I am the one who gives that blessing. But so even when it is given to Hiranyaksha or Bhasmasura or whatever, that power is coming from Krishna, but Krishna has delegated that power, that responsibility of giving that benediction to certain Devi and Devatas, and they give it off. Whereas when somebody approaches the Lord, even if he approaches with materialistic desire, akamaha sarva kamova moksha kama udaradhi. It is said that even if you are full of desires, materialistic desires, but if you approach the Lord, or if you are free from all the desires and still you approach the Lord, akamaha sarva kamova moksha kama udaradhi, or you want to get liberated, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. You should do tivra bhakti, intense bhakti towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if you do that intense bhakti, the way Dhruv Maharaj did, he went with full of kama, sarva kamaha. He wanted to become big king, much bigger than his father. Correct? He went with full of kama. But then his consciousness was purified by the Lord, and then he was blessed with that benediction. So this is how the Lord protects the devotees even when he gives the benediction. Not only in danger, but when a devotee comes to ask benediction also, Lord protects the devotee. That is not the case with other Devi Devatas. Bhasmasura came with a benediction requirement. He performed tapasya. Lord Shiva could not say, no, Bhasmasura, it is not going to help you. Please don't ask for this. He might have said also, but Bhasmasura insists. Like there was one particular demon whom Brahma said that this will not help you. He came with the Ravana, or who was it? That I want to become Amara. I am forgetting that pastime. So, Pardon? Hiranyakashipu only. He wanted to become Amara, correct? So he said, Brahma, I want to become Amar. Brahma tried to plead him, tried to say to him, no, this is not possible. No, 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 how it is not possible? Okay, then if that is not possible, give it in this way. I will ask you in this way. I will not die here, I will not die inside, I will not die outside, not in day, not in night, not by a human being, not by animal. So all these conditions he put and he tried to get that benediction. So then Brahma also could not resist. Brahma said, okay, chalo, take it. No problem. Isn't it? So they can preach, but they cannot hold it back. They have to give it. Whereas Lord Krishna decides whether to give or not to give, whether it will help this devotee or not, whether by giving this benediction this devotee will come to closer to me or not. He is doing some service. Suppose you go for book distribution. Krishna will decide whether you will be able to nicely distribute books today or not. If you are thinking, today I will sell so many books, I will come first in the book marathon, everybody will glorify me, I will get that particular award. Krishna will decide whether to give it or not. Oh, this devotee, no. He will get carried away if I give this award. If he sells all these books, he will start bossing over all the other folk boys. Let me not give him right now. Let him first develop proper consciousness, then I will give. Correct? So Lord can hold back. Isn't it? So that is how Lord does it. But as a devotee, what we should do? Tivrena bhakti yogena. Ekena manasa nityada. Shrotavya kirtitavyascha. Dhyeyah pujascha. Bhagavan satvatam patihi. That is what is our responsibility. That is what we should be doing. Okay? So Lord protects. He is a satvatam patihi. Okay? So we'll stop here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण।
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam जीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा